If the sisters want to come, they can come over now, inshallah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. والحمد لله الذي أرسل رسوله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على دين كله وكفى بالله شهيدا وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له إقرارا به وتوحيدا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تمسك بسنته بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد. By the name of Allah, or with the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate, the one who has sent his messenger alayhi salatu wasalam with the guidance and the religion of truth in order to make it superior and prevail over every other way of life. And I bear witness that none has the right to be worshipped except Allah, and that Muhammad is the messenger alayhi salatu wasalam. May the peace and salutations of Allah be upon him and his family and his companions and upon all those who follow upon his guidance into the establishment of the last day. To proceed, ikhwan, Allahumma inna na'udhu bika min ilmin la yanfa' min qalbin la yakhsha' min nafsin la tashba' wa min du'a'in la yusma'. Verily, Allah, we seek refuge with you from knowledge that has no benefit, and from a heart that has no fear, from a soul that has no satisfaction, no contentment, and from a dua that goes unanswered. From a dua that goes unanswered. To proceed, ikhwan, ونواصل معكم في هذه الليلة المباركة الكريمة عونا من الرحمن الرحيم. So we continue on this blessed and noble night of ours, seeking the aid and the assistance of our Lord, the most merciful, the most compassionate. مستفيدين متعلمين من علم الفقه. من علم الفقه. As we continue to learn and derive benefit collectively. Someone's crying here for a while. From the science of al-fiqh. From the science of al-fiqh. ونستفيد من كتاب العلامة الفقيه الأصولي المفسر اللغوي الإمام السعدي رحمه الله تعالى. رحمه الله تعالى. So we continue to learn, deriving benefit from the noble Imam, the Sheikh, the scholar of al-fiqh and of al-usul al-fiqh and of tafsir and of the Arabic language, the Sheikh As-Sa'di, may Allah have mercy upon him. طيب, أين وصلنا يا إخوان? Where did we stop at the last class? بإذن الله تعالى. وصلنا إلى باب في المياه. We mentioned the chapter regarding water. وصلنا إلى باب الآنية. We came to the chapter of the vessels and the utensils. الاستنجاء. نعم. باب الاستنجاء وآداب قضاء الحاجة.
We started إزالة النجاسة والأشياء النجسة.
إزالة النجاسة.
We just started like at the end.
طيب, جميل. طيب, بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. هل بدأنا ذلك الباب? We started that chapter?
Yes.
إزالة النجاسة?
Yes.
جميل. طيب, فكم أقسام الماء? So how many types of water are there? How many types of water are there? Two types. جميل. وما رأيكم إذا العبد يقول قال بعض العلماء أن أقسام الماء ثلاثة? What do you say, ya ikhwan, if someone says that some scholars take the position that there are three types of water? ماذا تقولون? What do you say, ya ikhwan?
Some scholars say two.
No.
And some say three.
No. والراجح, strongest opinion?
Two.
Is two. أحسنتم. وهو قول ابن تيمية
You
وغيره.
have to wait.
And that's the position of Ibn Taymiyyah and other than him. وفي عصرنا هذا الإمام العثيمين. And the scholars of today, or this time period of ours, is also the position of the Imam al-Uthaymin, rahimahumullah ta'ala. طيب. قال فإذا قضى حاجته استجمر بثلاثة أحجار. He says, so the person finishes using the hammam. He cleanses himself with 3 rocks. فما معنى استجمار? What does it mean استجمار? ما معنى هذا?
Using rocks.
To cleanse oneself with rocks. أو ما يكون في محله, or that which is in place of rocks,
Like toilet paper.
like toilet paper, cloth. قال وتنقي المحل, and then he purifies the place. ثم استنجى بالماء, and then he makes الاستنجاء with water. فما هو الاستنجاء? So what is استنجاء for?
Using water.
Makes sense. Using water to أن ينظف محله, to purify, to cleanse that area. جميلة. طيب ما رأيكم إذا العبد يجمع بينهما؟ Sheikh Abu Sadiq, what about if somebody ماذا يجمع بينهما? He joins together between them both. لا بأس بذلك. أحسنت. There's no problem in that يا إخوان. طيب قال السعدي رحمه الله, Imam السعدي, he continues. قال فصل, chapter, إزالة النجاسة والأشياء النجسة. Next chapter, removing those impurities and those things that are impure. Removing those impurities and also those things that are impure. قال سعدي رحمه الله ويكفي في غسل جميع النجاسات على البدن أو الثوب أو البقعة أو غيرها أن تزول عينها عن المحل. He says, it's sufficient, it's enough, it's yakfi, it's sufficed when it comes to having something impure on one's body, one's garment, one's place, his area, that he removes it with water, or that he removes it and تزول عينها عن المحل, that he just removes it. He cleanses it. He has some najasa on his body, he gets it off his body. He has some najasa on his stove, that he removes it. For example, he washes the impurity off of his body. قال لأن الشارع لم يشترط في جميع غسل نجاسات عددا إلا في نجاسة الكلب. He says because the legislation about Islam does not stipulate in everything that's impure that you have to wash it a certain amount of numbers or a certain amount of time, except with regards to the impurity of the dog, the impurities of the dog. فبين السعدي هنا رحمه الله يا إخوان أن بالنسبة إلى إزالة النجاسة من البدن أو الثوب أو البقعة يكفي إزالتها مرة واحدة، ليس مرتين أو 3 مرات إلا بالنسبة إلى الكلب. So the Imam As-Sa'di is teaching us here يا إخوان, if someone has something impure on his person, his body, or his garment, or his area, for example, all he has to do is wash that thing off, remove the impurity one time, and that's sufficient. Because Islam does not stipulate, Islam does not bring as a condition everything you wash that's impure has to be done 3 أو 4 أو 5 أو 7 مثلا إلا بالنسبة إلى الكلب. Because Islam does not stipulate that everything that's impure has to be washed 3 times, 5 times, 7 times, 9 times. That's only talking about the dog. قال فاشترط فيها 7 غسالات. He says, so when it comes to the dog, our religion has stipulated that it is to be washed 7 times. It is to be washed 7 times. وذكرنا قبل يا إخوان اختلاف العلماء, and we mentioned previously the difference of opinion that the scholars have regarding the dog. فقال بعض العلماء أن الكلب نجس. Some scholars hold the point of view that the dog is impure. Other scholars say no, the dog is not impure. وهذا مذهب المالكية, and that's the position of the Imams, or the madhab of Imam Malik. يذهبون إلى أن الكلب ليس بنجسة or ليس بنجس. They have the position, the Imams of Malikiya, that the dog is not impure. that the dog is not impure. كما يختلف العلماء على المني. Just as the scholars they differ over the fluid that comes from the man. قال بعضهم أن هذا نجس وصحيح أنه ليس بالنجس والله أعلم. Some scholars hold the point of view that the fluid that comes from the man is impure. The strongest opinion, ya ikhwan, is that the fluid of the man is not impure, or rather it is pure. قال بعضهم الذين يميلون إلى أنه طاهر أولا لأن بني آدم أخرجوا منه وهذا صحيح. From those scholars that hold the point of view that the fluid of the man, that it is pure, they bring a point of view. And their point of view is that how can this thing be pure when the children of Adam come from it? If it was impure, how could all of society, all of mankind come from something that's impure? And that's a strong position here. وقال بعضهم أنه نجس. Some scholars say it's نجس. واستدلون به على العبد أن يغتسل بعد أن يخرج هذا الماء من بدنه. Some scholars that hold the point of view that the fluid of the man is impure, they say because look, after it comes from your body, you have to wash your whole body. You have to make a ghusl. So that shows it's impure. لكن هذا ليس بدليل. But that's not an actual proof يا إخوان. That's not an actual proof. على كل يختلف العلماء. At any rate, the scholars they differ. قال سعدي رحمه الله إحداها بالتراب في الحديث المتفق عليه. He says, رحمه الله تعالى, as Sa'di he continues, he says with regards to the dog, there's a narration that we're going to get to inshallah that mentions you wash that particular vessel. If the dog licks in your vessel, you wash it 7 times. One narration says إحداها أو إحداهن بالتراب, that the first of them or one of the 7 washes is with dirt. وفي رواية أخرى أولهن بالتراب. There's another narration that comes and it says the first of these 7 washes is with dirt. طيب. قال تقدم أن الطهارة هي الشرط الأول من شروط صحة الصلاة. He says we have learned already, it was mentioned before, that purification is the first condition from the conditions of the authenticity of one's prayer. طيب سؤال الأول, question number 1. إذا العبد يصلي وهو يحتاج إلى طهارة ولا يتطهر ما حكم صلاته؟ ما حكم صلاته? If someone prays, this is my first question tonight. Someone prays, he offers the salah, and he's in need of wudu. He's in need of purification, but he didn't make purification. He didn't make tahara, and then he prays. What's the ruling of his salah?
If he had wudu, like when he started to pray, did he have wudu?
That's all you get. He's in need of wudu. No, he didn't make wudu. He's in need of it. He prays without wudu, but he has to make wudu. He's in need of wudu. لم يتطهر, but he didn't make wudu. ثم يصلي. He made a salah.
If he remembers it during the prayer, he can just go back.
What's the ruling on that prayer itself? Sahiha or batila? Is authentic or false? False? False?
If he didn't have wudu before?
No wudu.
No wudu, yeah.
Invalid?
He has to make it invalid.
Invalid. Umuman? You gotta say like that generally? No detail? على حسب. It depends. كيف على حسب? What do you mean it depends? قد تكون صلاته صحيحة. There's a chance his prayer can be accepted. It can be correct. وقد لا تكون صلاته صحيحة. And there's a chance his prayer may not be accepted. كيف؟ Ignorance. يقول تعالى في سورة التغابن فاتقوا الله ما استطعتم. Allah says, fear Allah to the best of your ability.
If he did it عمدا, it's pardon.
He did it on purpose. He didn't forget. He knows he needs wudu. هو يعمده. He did it on purpose.
Did he make tayammum?
No tayammum. لم يتطهر. He didn't purify himself at all.
There was no water.
Could have been no water.
But you still have to make tayammum.
Could have been no dirt.
What if there's water?
No dirt.
No dirt, no water.
Somewhere with
All
dirt.
dirt. That's
But he's in need of wudu.
Last one,
There's no salah for the one who doesn't make purification? Yes. For the one that has the ability to make purification. في هذا المثال, in our example, هو يحتاج إلى طهارة لكن لا يستطيع أن يتطهر. ما عنده ماء مثلا, ما عنده تراب مثلا, ما عنده أرض مثلا. He has to make wudu, yes. He has no water, he has no dust, no dirt, nor the likes. جاء وقت الصلاة. Then the time of prayer comes. What does he do?
فاتقوا الله ما استطعتم.
He fears Allah, that's his ability. So it depends. It depends. في الأغلبية نعم صلاته لا تكون صحيحة. Usually in the most of the situations his prayer is not accepted. But there's a chance يا أخوان. It depends on the situation. It depends on the situation. He could be in need of wudu, in need of tayammum, but he can't make tayammum. You just can't make tayammum on anything. Tayammum has a meaning. You can't make tayammum. ما عندنا ماء مثلا, ما عندنا تراب مثلا. أنا تيمم على هذه السجادة. جواب لا. We don't have any water. There's nowhere to get water from close to us. We have no dirt, no soil. طيب, I'm going to go to the carpet and just make tayammum from the carpet? No. I'm just go to the wall that has no dust, no dirt, and I'm just going to make tayammum, bismillah. No. Tayammum has a meaning. Wudu has a meaning. بعض الناس يظنون أن معنى الوضوء غسل الأيدي بالماء. هذا خطأ. Some people believe that wudu just means washing your hands. نلعب كرة السلة مثلا, we're playing ball. وغسلت يدي فيقول لي شخص توضأت؟ لا أنا ما توضأت. We're playing ball and you get sweaty, wash my hands. The brother says, oh, you made wudu. He said, no, wudu is specific. Wudu has a meaning. I just wash my hands. Now every time you wash your face is wudu. Now every time you wash your feet is wudu. Now every time you rinse your mouth is wudu. Now every time مثلا you wash your hands is wudu. لا, wudu يا إخوان شيء ماذا بالضبط? Wudu is something specific. هذا مثال. That's an example يا إخوان. That sometimes a person's prayer can be accepted. طيب. العبد يصلي مثلا ركعتين لكن في الأصل عليه أن يصلي أربعا فما حكم صلاته? The man prays 2 raka'ah of a 4 raka'ah prayer. He should be praying 4. He prays 2. عمدا, on purpose. ما حكم صلاته? ما حكم صلاته? What's the ruling on his prayer?
He's a traveler.
He could be a traveler, so it can be correct. Anything else? A traveler? Huh? Depends. فالعلم يا اخوان الفقه يجعلك أن تنظر إلى احتمالات. When you study and you start learning al-fiqh and you start memorizing adillah, ayat, and you learn how to apply them, it's going to teach you how to start looking at the situations. There's a chance. What about if this? This could have been there. What about that? What about this? هذا لماذا أنا لا أفهم يا إخوان في أمريكا أن بعض المسلمين اليوم يستعجلون في ذكر كلمة أهل البدع بدون خوف. أنا أستغرب من هذا. And that's one of the reasons I'm amazed by us in America especially. You only see this in our country. Where the people, most of the people, were so fast to call people innovators. It's like we have no fear. Oh, anyone لا يوافق معنا نسميه أهل البدع وهذا ليس بالصحيح. Anyone who does not agree with us. You have a position and he doesn't agree. What are you going to say? Oh, he's an innovator. أنت تصلي في مكان ما وهو لا يوافق معك. هو يصلي في مكان آخر. فتسميه أهل البدع وهذا ليس بالصحيح. You have a particular place you like to pray. You're comfortable. Your heart is there. Another person does not pray where you pray. What do? Oh, you're this, you're innovative, you're that. These are words, ya ikhwan, that the people of knowledge كانوا خائفين أن يستخدموها كما نحن نستخدمها. The people of knowledge are afraid to use these terms loosely the way we do nowadays.
And with tayammum, does the person have to like go outside on the earth to make tayammum, or for example, let's say you ask a friend to go outside, put a bunch of dirt on a plate, and can you do tayammum with that?
لا بأس. هذا ليس بشرط. That's not a condition. The dirt has to be from the soil and the ground, but he himself, هذا ليس بشرط, that he has to go to the park, to the grass, and get the soil. No, if somebody goes and get the soil from him, هذا لا بأس. مثل الماء للوضوء. Like someone getting you water for wudu. هذا ليس بشرط عليك أنت أن تمشي إلى الحمام إلى الخلاء مثلا أو أن تشتري ماء. لا، هذا ليس بشرط. يمكن الشخص أن يأتي وأن يعطيك ماء. هذا جائز. It's not a condition that you have to go to the hammam yourself, or you have to go buy the water and make the wudu from that. No, somebody can bring you water. So if you could bring water, as long as the dirt and the soil is original soil and dust and dirt, it's not a condition. الشروط يا إخوان هو ما اشترطه الله والنبي أو يشترط من الآيات مثلا أو الحديث استنباطا. A condition is something that Allah has made a condition, or the Prophet has made a condition, or is stipulated and derived from the people of knowledge from the ayat and from the hadith. مثلا فبعض الناس يظن إذا العبد يطلق زوجته يحتاج إلى شهداء أن هذا الشرط. هذا ليس بشرط. Some brothers and sisters believe if the man pronounces divorce on his wife, for example, he needs a witness. It's not a condition. قد يكون أولى, it could be better, لكن هذا ليس بشرط. But that's not a condition. No.
Like most of us are never usually in the position of making tayammum. So can you possibly show us like the correct way?
فمثلا التيمم يا إخوان شيئين أو شيئان. تيمم is two things. فضربته الأرض بالأيدي ثم المس على اليمنى واليسرى ثم المس على الوجه. Tayammum, you're just doing two things. You're striking soil, or you're retrieving soil or dirt or dust, and then you're striking it, Bismillah, and then you wipe your right and your left, and then you wipe your face. That's it. Tayammum is two things. You don't have to put it on your feet, you don't put dirt in your mouth, rinse it around. لا. وهذا يدل يا إخوان على جمال هذا الدين، جمال هذه الشريعة. And this shows something that humbles you يا إخوان, the beauty of Islam. The beauty of Islam. فسألني شيخ من عندنا, one of the scholars here, the brothers, he asked us a question some time ago. هاتي دليلا إذا العبد يسافر بالطائرة وجاء وقت الصلاة ولا يمكنه أن يقوم كيف يصلي. One of the brothers asked a good question last week or so. He said, if someone is traveling by airplane and it's time to pray, but he can't stand up because of the condition, give me a proof that it's allowed for him to pray sitting down. فأوردت له قول الله تعالى فاتقوا الله ما استطعتم سورة التغابن. So we mentioned to him the statement of Allah, fear Allah to the best of your ability. He said, that's not a proof to me. I said, that's a proof from Allah. لعله ليس دليلا لك لا بأس لكن هو دليل. I said, perhaps it's not a proof to you. No problem. But it's a proof يا أخوان. هذا قول الله. That's a statement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وعليكم السلام يا رب بس يا أخي. How's everything? تفضل يا أخي.
When you make like tayammum, what if the soil is like little?
You don't need a lot of soil. You're just wiping your hands and your face. So you don't need buckets يا أخوان. And you don't need pictures of dirt, not like that. But you have to have that which is sufficient. لكن التيمم يا إخوان لا يقام إلا في عدم الماء أو في عدم استطاعة استخدام الماء. But tayammum is not just used anytime you wish. Tayammum is used, number one, if you don't have any water or access to water, or you don't have water, or you have water but you can't use that water. You have water. مثلا بعض السلف إذا كان عنده ماء مثلا لكن الماء يكون ماء باردا جدا ولا يمكنهم أن يسخروا هذا الماء لا يتوضأوا من ذلك الماء. Many of the imams of the past took a position that may seem strange يا إخوان. If they had water but the water was extremely cold, like in the winter, in Yemen it was like that. Sometimes you couldn't heat up your water. the hammamat was outside in the masjid. It was outside, and you're freezing, mashallah, and you can't. They don't get hot. So you trying your best. You're freezing. So some of the imams of the past took the position: if the water is freezing cold and you can't heat it up, that is no problem to make tayammum in this regard. For example, many of the Salaf use that.
So people wouldn't take showers in winter?
They would take it if they had the necessity to do so, for example, but if they couldn't, if it was too cold and they couldn't heat it up, they would go make tayammum from the dirt. So you have to make a shower. Let's say you have a sakhan, you have a heater, you have a stove, mathalan. You heat it up. But not everyone had electric, not everyone had an oven, not everyone had. Back in the day, not everyone had the ability to heat their water up. So cold water is cold water. So you can imagine in the winter time, no heater, no oven, what are you going to heat your water up with? For example, I know some of the brothers didn't touch their wives for months and months and months. Why? I can't make it a ghusl with that cold water, so I'm just going to be patient.
What if the person is in the state of janaba?
But if he has that position, he can make tayammum can take the place of a ghusl. And, no, alhamdulillah. Allah.
How clean is the soil supposed to be like?
As long as it's original soil, like it's nothing that contaminated it, it's not known as najasa, it has to be turaban, bima'na al-kalima. It has to be dirt with the meaning of it. It can't be like impure dirt. It can be, have some trash there like that, but as long as it doesn't take away that this dirt is tahir, it has to be pure. If it has some urine or the likes, then that'd be different. Allah alam. No. طيب. قال بدأ المؤلف رحمه الله تعالى في بيان كيفية غسل النجاسات التي تقع على البدن أو على الثوب. He says, so the Imam, I think we read this already, the Imam began with clarifying how to cleanse those things that are impure if they fall on one's body or one's garment. No, I think we did that already. طيب. قال سعدي رحمه الله, Imam al-Sa'di continues. قال والأشياء النجسة, and those things that are impure. Those things that are impure. طيب, I don't think we did this last part, يا أخوان. قال فإذا كانت على البدن كالفخذ أو البطن أو الظهر أو اليد أو الرجل أو كانت على الثوب كالقميص أو العمامة أو السراويل أو الأباءة أو القلنسوة مثلا وكانت على البقعة وهي الأرض التي يصلي عليها والسجادة مثلا أو في الأواني. He says, for example, if the thing that's najas falls on someone's body, like his legs, his thigh, or he has some impurities on his stomach, or examples, some impurities on his back, or his hand, or his feet, or he has some impurities upon his stove, like his stove, his qamis, or his scarf, his imama, can also be a khimar for the women, or his pants, or the jilbab, or his qalansawa, his kufi, or the najasa falls on his buqa'a, his area. The intent here is the earth that the person prays in. وقد يكون قد نفهم من هذا أيضا مثلا على الأرض في المسجد أو في البيت. You can also understand here the ground itself of the masjid or in his house. He says, or on the carpet, on the likes, for example, or upon a vessel. فكيف تزول هذه النجاسة? So how is this impurities removed? إذا وقعت على مثل هذه الأشياء, if they fall on the likes of these things that we mentioned. قال الجواب, the answer, تكون إزالتها بإزالة عين النجاسة. He says, it will be removed by removing that specific najasa itself. فإذا زالت العين طهر المحل. So if the najasa itself, not the smell of it, the aynun najasa, the najasa itself. If it's removed, then the place is pure. فمثلا إذا بال العبد على الأرض, someone urinates on the ground. مثلا هو في المسجد, he's in the house of Allah. ثم نزول نجاسة هذه البول, and we clean the impurity of the urine. لكن نشمها أو نشمه, but we still smell it. نزولها, we removed it, but we still smell it. هذا لا يضر, then there's no harm there. As long as you remove aynun najasa, the najasa itself has to be removed. You may still smell it. For example, you go to pray and it still smells like urine. That doesn't mean that the ayn of the najasa itself, the actual najasa, is still there. It doesn't mean that as long as we really cleaned it up and it's gone, the actual impurity itself, then that's sufficient. قال فمثلا طيب قال ولا حاجة إلى عدد, and he says, and there's no need that the person has to rewash it and wash it 3 and 5 and 7. If you got it up, even if you smell it, but you removed it, then the place is considered to be pure. And you don't have to wash it a certain amount of times unless you're talking about the dog. قال إلا في نجاسة الكلب, he said, except with regards to the impurity of the dog. التي أمر بغسلها ولم تظهر عينها 7 مرات و8 بالتراب أو 7 مرات إحداهن بالتراب. And then alhamdulillah, he brings both positions here. He said, because we have been commanded to wash with regards to the dog 7 times. Some scholars say 7, some say 8. He brought both positions. He says some say 8, and the 7 is with water, and the 8th is with dirt. So 7 and 1 is 8. Other scholars say no, collectively it has to be 7, not 8. So they differ there. For those that say 8, the 7 is with the water, and 1 of them is with dirt. For those that say 7, 1 of the 7 washes has to be with dirt. وَلَعَلَ هَذَا أَصْوَبْ وَاللَّهُ أَعْلَمُ. And perhaps that position is the strongest, as it comes in the hadith, 7 مرات, 7 times. كما ورد في بعض الأحاديث, as it comes in some of the narrations. ولذلك حكمة معروفة, and in that regard there is some known wisdom there. قال فالحاصل أن النجاسة التي على البدن أو على الثوب أو على غيره تغسل حتى تزول. He says, so if you have something impure on your body, on your person, on your garment, or in your area, or the likes, then washing it until it's removed. This is sufficient. فإذا زالت عينها ولم يبقى لها أثر فإنه يظهر. So if the thing itself is removed and there's no traces of it, not like the smell, no traces of it. If you see traces, then it's not fully removed. So it has to be done, has to be removed completely. He says in this regard, then it is يطهر, it is pure. أو يطهر. وقد ثبت أنه عليه الصلاة والسلام سئل عن دم الحيض يصيب الثوب. And the Messenger عليه الصلاة والسلام, he was asked about the blood of the menstrual. Talking about the woman. The blood of the menstruation, if it gets on your clothes. If it gets on your clothes. فقال يكفيك الماء ولا يضرك أثره. He says, it's sufficient for you that you remove it with water, and the traces of it لا يضر, does not harm. So if the woman is on her menses, for example, and she gets some of the blood on her garment, the blood of the menstruation is najis. So the Prophet said, يكفيك الماء, it's sufficient for you to wash it with water. But it still may be some traces of it. It could be a stain. It could be gone, but it could have left a stain itself. And it happens a lot, ya ikhwan. So as long as it's really removed, fully removed, the traces of it does not harm. Sometimes even in the ghasala, in the washing machine, the menstruation blood is strong. And sometimes you mix it with some other garments, and the blood from that shirt got on another shirt. As long as the عين هذه النجاسة تزول فلا يضرك أثره ولا يضرك أثره. So as long as the thing itself, the impurity is truly removed, is gone. If it has a trace, that doesn't harm. The thing itself has to be removed. As this hadith here is collected by Imam Ahmad, the Messenger of Allah said, يَكْفِيكَ الْمَاء. Water suffices you. Cleanse it with water. Remove it with water. وَلَا يَضُرُكَ أَثَرُ. And the traces of it is not going to harm you. قال فإذا غسل الدم الذي على الثوب. So if the person washes the blood that's on the garment, ولكن بقي في الثوب شيء من صبغته. Same example we almost used, mashallah. But he washed it, but it remains, some of the coloring is faded or there's a stain. لا يزيله الماء فإنه قد طهر. And this stain, the traces of it, the water didn't remove that, the trace. Then this garment is considered to be pure. قال سعدي رحمه الله. Next point. وَالْأَشْيَاءُ النَّجَسَةِ. And those things that are impure. What are they? Number one, بول الآدمي. بول الآدمي. The urine of the children of Adam. The urine of the children of Adam. قال وعذرته. Now this word here, you have a translation, Myra, on this one? عذرته. And the feces of Bani Adam. They said human, I'll say Bani Adam. Well, the عذرته, the number two, the defecation of mankind. From the al-rijal wal-nisa, from the men and from the women. As long as they're human. As long as they are human. Somebody may say, what about the defecation of a jinn? إذا هذا يحصل والله أعلم ما عندي دليل على ذلك. If that is a thing, I don't have any proof that the jinn, they do a number one or number two or ya ikhwan or the likes. So we say, والله أعلم ما عندنا علم في هذا. We don't have any knowledge in that regard. فنقول الله أعلم. So we say Allah knows best. طيب سؤال آخر. Another question. هل يجوز للعبد أن يتزوج بالجنية? Can a man marry a jinni woman? Can a man marry a female jinn? Can a female jinn marry a man from mankind? How? You can't see him, but can he get married? هذا ما شاء الله تعالى مرة ثانية يدل على إكمال هذا الدين. كان بعض السلف يتكلمون عن هذه المسألة. This once again shows the completeness of our religion. Some of the Salaf used to talk about this issue. You're not going to find it in Quran and Sunnah, no, in detail, but they used to talk about this. For example, at any rate, الصحيح إذا يمكن العبد أن يفعل ذلك فالما عندنا الذي يحرمه. If we say if, that's something that can be done. Islam doesn't say that's haram. If, I don't know how you would do that, but if there's a way, like you said, you can't see them, how could you? If there's a way it can be done, Allah and His Messenger didn't say it's haram. But how would you do it? Allah.
Can people, like some extreme people, can they use that as an excuse to say I can marry an animal?
Once again, the marriage is going to have to be, that's another proof that some scholars, there's a verse in Surah Rum, I'm trying to think, Ikhwan, where Allah Ta'ala says, وَمِنْ آيَاتِ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا. An ayah. Allah Ta'ala says, and from His signs is that He created for you, from you, mates. So some scholars, Sheikh Mupo used, no, he contradicted that point. Some scholars say, see, Allah says, مِنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ, from yourselves. Meaning, all you can marry is someone like you, a person. You can't marry an animal. You can't marry insect. You can't marry the jinn. Other scholars say, no, Allah says, min ayatihi, from His signs. He didn't say it's haram. So the point here, ikhwan, they used to discuss the likes of these issues. This shows, once again, Islam is complete. Almost everything that you can think of is mentioned in our religion. We're not saying go try to do that, ikhwan. We're not saying it's Allah. That's not our Islam. We're not saying that. Some scholars say it's not Allah. Other scholars say it is Allah. For those that say it's not Allah, they use the likes of that verse, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ, and from his signs. Other scholars say this verse doesn't show that. Where is it that it's haram? And that's strong also. Some of the people, they say, ماذا? The man has the right to command his wife to cover the way he wants her to cover. إذا العبد مثلا من الرجال يريد زوجته أن تتنقب يجب عليها أن تتنقب. Some scholars, they say, if a man desires for his wife to cover her face, even if she doesn't take that position or not, he has the right to command her to cover her face. Other scholars say no. Where's that proof? الصحيح أن هذا لا من حقه. The correct opinion is that that's not from his rights. You can't make the woman, I'm going to command you to worship Allah the way I want you to worship Allah. Somebody's going to say, what about the ayah? What ayah? Allah says, الرجال قوامون على النساء. Al-ayah. The men are the maintainers and the providers and the protectors over the women. Where did Allah say you have the right to command her to worship Allah the way you want her to worship Allah? So there's a difference in ikhwan, saying, deriving something from the ayat and saying what the ayat is saying. You have to make sure that the imams and the salaf had your position. You just can't take an ayat and hadith and make it up as you go. You can't do that, ya ikhwan. There was a woman, real beautiful woman, كانت تلبس المكاييش مثلا في إفريقيا. The woman in Africa, real pretty lady, mashallah. She used to wear the makeup بدون نقاب في الخارج, without the face covering, outside her house. And you say, أمي اتق الله عليك أن تتحجبي حجابا صحيحا شرعيا. She says, اتركني عندي حق لألبس هذا, عندي دليل من النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام. You say, أمي, my beloved mother, fear Allah, you have to cover with the correct Islamic covering. You can't wear makeup like that outside without covering your face. She says, leave me alone. I have some proof from the Prophet that I can do so. You say, hat. Give me a proof. He says, قال النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام ثم ذكرت حديثا صحيحا. That she mentions an authentic hadith, not a made up hadith. No, the Prophet said it. She says, قال النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام إن الله جميل يحب الجمال. هذا صحيح. The Prophet says, verily Allah is beautiful and He loves beauty, and I'm beautiful. So she's given the hadith but misunderstanding it. So there's a difference in ikhwan. هذا معنى حديثي أو منهج أهل السنة أو سلفي أو منهج أهل الحق. This is the meaning when we say, inshallah, we try our best to follow the methodology of the people of hadith. This is the meaning when we say we try our best to follow the methodology of a salaf, or we try our best to follow the methodology of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, or the people of the truth. All of these are correct affiliations. We don't make up our own Islam. How did those who are around the Messenger of Allah, how did they understand these points? الذي مجمعون عليه, those things that they were unanimous upon, not the things they differed upon. If the Salaf differed, the companions differed upon something, وما عنده دليل من الكتاب والسنة وما عنده دليل من الكتاب والسنة لا يمكنني أن أستخدم قول أبي بكر على قول عمر أو قول عائشة على قول علي. لا, نقول اختلفت. If you have an issue that there's no proof from the Quran and the Sunnah in this specific issue, and the companions differ themselves in, there's no Quran and Sunnah to say Abu Bakr is right and Umar is wrong. I can't use Abu Bakr's position against you, and you can't use Umar's position against me. There's no Quran and Sunnah to judge. If they differ upon that, they differ upon that. I can't say this companion is more right than him. That's his opinion, that's his ijtihad, that's his ijtihad. There's no proof of that. Like the issue مثلا الرفع بعد الركوع, العلماء يختلفون إلى قولين. Like coming up from ruku', سمي الله لمن حمده. Where do you place your hands? There are two opinions. الإرسال والضم. الإرسال والضم. You put your hands to the sides, one opinion. Or you return them as they were before ruku', second opinion. There's no specific hadith تبين لنا سنة النبي في هذا المجال في هذا المجال. There's no authentic, specific, sarih, crystal clear, marfu' hadith attributed to the Messenger of Allah, musnadan, sahihan, muttasilan, that the Prophet is, they mention what he did specifically with his hands after ruku'. You're not going to find a hadith that says when he raised his head up from ruku', he put him to his sides. It doesn't exist. You're not going to find a hadith that says when he raised his head up from the ruku', he put his hands back on his chest. That mentions after the ruku' or rising up. It's not there. So that's why they differ. So some companions said this, some of the tabi'un said that, some of the atba' tabi'in said this, scholars of today, some say this, some say that. Many positions. قال بعض العلماء أن الرجع أن الضم بعد الركوع بدعة وهذا قول محمد ناصر الدين الألباني ويوجد من يخالفه هو رحمهم الله. There's one opinion from the great Imam al-Albani, may Allah have mercy upon him, that when you come up and you place your right on your left on your chest, that's an innovation. That's one opinion. Sheikh Albani is strong in that. He says, فَإِنَّهَا بِدْعَةٌ. You go back to his book, Sifat al-Salat al-Nabi, the description of how the Prophet prayed, alayhi salatu wasalam, min al-takbiri wa tahreem, or ila tahreem, from when he says Allahu Akbar until he says Assalamu alaikum, he says, فَإِنَّهَا بِدْعَةٌ. Verily it's a bid'ah. Then you have some scholars that oppose him. قال الشيخ عثيمين رحمه الله تعالى أن الضم بعد الركوع سنة. يختلفان. Then you have Sheikh Uthaymeen, or the likes. He says the total opposite. Coming up from the ruku', placing your right on your left is a sunnah. One scholar says bid'ah, one scholar says sunnah. Sometimes they differ here. There's nothing specific. Imam Ahmed was asked, and I wish one of the atba' tabi'een mentioned, what did Imam Ahmed do? That would be amazing. Or one of the tabi'un mentioned, what did Aisha do here? Or what did Abu Bakr do here? Or what did Umar do? What did Ali do? What did Abu Hurairah do? But for some reason, this regard, it seems like they didn't narrate it for some reason. Or it didn't reach us. At any rate, Imam Ahmed su'ila anhu, he was asked, قال فيه سعة أو كما قال رحمه الله, he said in this issue, there's room for this and room for that. It would have been amazing if he says, but I see this to be right, or that. He just says فيه سعة. That is vastness in it. Meaning, there's nothing specific, crystal clear. Another issue that's really one of my favorite اختلافات of the salah, النزول من القيام إلى السجدة. هل نقدم الأيدي أو نقدم الركبتين؟ في اختلاف قوي. One of my favorite difference of opinions. When you're standing up, about to go into sujood, do you place your hands down first or your knees? There are two opinions. One of the best researches you're going to study it. You're going to be studying it for the rest of your life. It's not going to stop. Do you place your hands down first or your knees? There are two opinions. Your hands go down first, one opinion. Your knees go down second, another opinion. There's a statement by Ibn Khuzaymah that إذا كان صحيحا انتهى الاختلاف. Ibn Khuzaymah, he brings a position, if his narration would have been authentic, the issue would be over. He brings a hadith bima'na, the meaning of it, it says that one of the لعل أنس ذكر كنا ندعو ركبتينا قبل أيدينا ثم أمرنا أن نقدم أيدينا قبل ركبتينا ولكن هذا الحديث ضعيف. He mentions in his Sahih that one of the companions said, we used to place our knees down first, and then we were commanded to place our hands down. The argument will be over. But that hadith is weak. There are many weaknesses of the hadith. At any rate, there's a hadith Abu Hurairah. It's the same hadith about placing one's hands down first, and then it's the same hadith about placing one's knees down first. In this narration, we didn't get there yet in our hadith class, it has ittirab. It has some confusion somewhere. One of the narrators in the chain is making an error. The hadith comes both ways from Abu Hurairah. The one narration says, when one of you لا تسجدوا كسجود البعير, Don't prostrate like the prostration of the camel. لِيَضَعْ يَدَيْهِ قَبْلَ رُكْبَتَيْهِ. But rather, let him place his hands down first before his knees. And there's another hadith, the same narration, different variants. لِيَضَعْ رُكْبَتَيْهِ قَبْلَ يَدَيْهِ. But let him place his knees down first before his hands. This hadith is called mutarib. It has someone in the chain is making some error, and it appears that both hadith have the weaknesses in it. It's the same narration, but it's different variations. The strongest hadith, wallahu alam, there's another narration collected by Ibn Khuzaymah that mentions place his hands down first before the knees. Some scholars say that has weakness also. So this ikhtilaf here is one of the strongest ones. Our Shaykh al-Yami used to say, you do here whatever is easy. If going down on your knees is easy, I can't do that. If going down on your hands is easy, you do what's easy here, as there's no authentic hadith. If you use the hadith of Abi Hurairah, putting your hands down first, it has weakness. If you use the hadith by putting your knees down first, that also has weakness. So you fear Allah to the best of your ability.
The weakness is the trap.
Huh?
What is the weakness?
There's a man in the chain who has a weak memory in both riwayat, in both narrations. It's not salimatun or salimatun min al-da'af. Neither one of them are free from weakness. There's a man here, and he has su'ul hifz, he has a weak memory. And there's a man here, and he has su'ul hifz, he also has a weak memory. Some other scholars say the one that says going down on your knees first is more weak than the other one. But they both have weakness. This one may be more weak, but this one is weak also.
But one thing we know is the camel do the knees first.
Tayyip, that's one thing. We're glad you pointed that out. Tayyip, may Allah bless you. But it depends on how you describe it. I'm going to give you a way to look at it. Our Sheikh said we know the camel goes down first on his knees. Tayyip. I'm going to change it up and describe it differently.
But the camel don't have the hand. He have to use the knee.
They differ on, that's why Islam is amazing, ikhwan. They differ on, do the camels have 4 legs or 2 legs and 2 arms?
It doesn't have 4 kneecaps though. Only has 2.
Are the kneecaps in the front considered to be knees or no? That's an argument.
It has kneecaps.
Like kneecaps, some people don't call them kneecaps because to them, that's not his legs. That's his arms. That's his elbows. That's how some scholars look at it. If you look at you're not talking about a man, a woman. You're talking about an animal. Is it correct to say that a dog has 4 legs or 2 legs and 2 arms?
4 legs.
Some people say that. There's another opinion. 2 legs and 2 arms. Same thing with the camel. The camel has 4 something. Let's call them 4 legs. The other group of scholars say no. Those front things are not his legs, they're his arms. So when he bends down, they say yes, he's coming down first, but that's his hands. So they use the same hadith both ways. For the ones that come on his knees first, they say, see, the camel goes down on his knees first. So we should go on our knees first. It's flipped over. They say, no, that's not his knees. They're his hands. So they're different there, ikhwan. Wallahu alam. Man yurid an yu'adhin. Who wants to call that then, ya ikhwan? It's from the beauty of Islam, ya ikhwan. Sometimes the people of knowledge may differ on how they look at something. It happens. Somebody bring up a video when a camel was going down.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammad